Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You are highly welcome to yet another economics class. Today we shall be looking at the theory of demand. But before we start, at the end of our discussion today, you are expected to be able to define demand, to be able to state the laws of demand, explain the different types of demand, and also mention the factors affecting the demand. To start with, what do you understand by demand? Demand can be defined as the quantity of goods or services that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price and at a particular period of time. Let me quickly take you back to your SS1 class. You will recall that in SS1 you were taught the basic concept of economics, and under that topic you were taught concepts such as EMS, scarcity means, and the likes. Looking at that word EMS simply refers to human wants, human desires, and you were made to understand then that human wants are unlimited. That is, they are limitless, and as a result, they are also what? Insatiable, because it is not possible for any human being to satisfy all his wants at any given point in time, because they are limitless. And why is it that it is difficult for consumers or human beings to satisfy all his wants? It's as a result of the fact that the available resources are scarce. The available resources are limited in supply. So that is that. So bringing that knowledge down to the concept of demand, you agree with me that it is not everything we desire at a particular point in time that we are able to satisfy due to the limited available resources. So out of the numerous wants that we desire at any given point in time, the few wants that we have the ability, as in the few ones that will have the resources to acquire, to satisfy at that particular point in time, constitutes our demand. And that is why it is defined as the quantity of goods or services that consumers are willing and able to buy at a given price and a particular period of time. So our desires that we are willing to have, and at the same time we have the resources, we have the money to acquire at that particular point in time, is what is described as demand. And that is why in economics, demand is quite different from want or desire. You can see, because it is not every want that is what? Demand. This is because it is not everything we desire that we have the ability to acquire at a particular point in time. So, but it's only those our wants which we have the willingness, at the same time the ability to achieve, to acquire, to satisfy at a particular point in time, that is described as demand. And that is why also in economics we have those goods and services that we desire, and at the same time we have the ability to acquire, is known as effective demand. So demand is said to be effective when it is backed by the ability to pay. When it is backed up by the ability to pay. When one's demand is backed up by the necessary ability, which is money. So when you talk of the ability, we are referring to what? The resources, money to acquire. So when one's demand is backed up by the necessary ability, which is money and willingness to pay, it is said to be effective demand. On the other hand, ineffective demand is mere want or desire that is not backed up by the required money to pay for it. So you can see the difference between the two types now: effective demand, ineffective demand. Effective demand is demand that is backed up by the ability to pay, while ineffective demand is that demand which is not backed up by the ability to pay. Now let's now move on. let's look at the laws of demand. Yeah, we have normal demand, we have abnormal demand, but we are dealing with normal demand now. So the laws of what? Normal demand. The law of demand states that the higher the price, other things being equal, the lower the quantity demanded. And the lower the price, other things being equal, the higher the quantity demanded. These are the laws of a normal demand. Whenever the price of a normal demand increases, every rational consumer tends to reduce the quantity demanded of that particular commodity. And whenever the price of a given commodity, of a normal good, reduces, a rational consumer tends to increase the demand for that particular commodity. And that is why the law states that the higher the price, that is, as the price increases, the quantity demanded for that particular commodity will reduce. And also, as the price reduces, ceteris paribus, that is, other things being equal, the quantity demanded tends to be higher. So these are the laws of demand. Now let's look at demand schedule. As far as economics is concerned, the word schedule simply means a table. So demand schedule can be defined as a table that shows the relationship between prices and the quantity of that commodity demanded. Yeah, it is a table that shows relationship between the price and the quantity demanded. Don't forget, at different prices, different quantity of a commodity are demanded by what? By the consumers. Going by the law of demand that we earlier we just considered, that when price increases, other things being equal, the quantity demanded reduces. So that relationship that now exists as price changes and the effects on the quantity that we demanded, the tabular representation of the relationship is what is known as a demand schedule. So it can be defined as a table that shows the relationship between prices and the quantity of that commodity demanded. We have two types of demand schedule. We have individual demand schedule and we have market demand schedule. So let us assume in a given market, we have 5 consumers of a particular commodity or service. These consumers are consumers A, B, C, D, E. These are the 5 consumers demanding for a particular commodity. If out of these 5 consumers, if you are now trying to consider the different quantities that consumer A buys at different prices, the different quantities of that particular commodity demanded by consumer A at different prices in a tabular form, then we are talking of what? An individual demand schedule. So it is a table that shows the relationship between the prices and the quantity demanded of a commodity by an individual, by a particular consumer, by one consumer. That is an individual demand curve. Then when we talk about market demand curve, we are talking about the table that shows the relation between the price and different quantities demanded by all the consumers of that particular commodity in the market. That is market. So that is market demand curve. It considers the entire consumers of that particular commodity. And going by the illustration I gave on individual demand schedule, where we assume that the total number of consumers that buy a particular commodity are what? 5, A, B, C, D, E. So in the case of the market demand schedule, we are talking about a table now that shows the relationship between the different prices and different quantities being demanded by all these 5 consumers of that particular commodity. That is a market demand curve. It's also called aggregate demand schedule or total demand schedule. So individual demand schedule considers a consumer of a particular commodity. The table that shows the relation between the price and quantity demanded by a consumer. Well, in the case of market demand schedule, we are considering the totality, the relation between the prices and different quantities being demanded by all the consumers of that particular commodity in the world, in the market. So we have 2 types of demand schedule: individual demand schedule and the market demand schedule. Let's move on. So now, yes, you can see table 4.1 is an example of an individual demand schedule. Yes, this is a demand schedule of Mallam Ademola. So Mallam Ademola's demand schedule. This schedule caters for the different quantities of a particular commodity being demanded by Mallam Ademola at different prices. So because it caters, it considers an individual, just one consumer, so we call it individual demand schedule. As you can see, we have this table now showing relation between the price per tin of milk, and the quantity demanded per month. At 10 naira, when the price was 10 naira, Mallam Ademola bought 10 tins of milk. When the price reduced from 10 naira to 8 naira, Mallam Ademola increased his quantity demanded from 10 tins of milk to 20 tins of milk. When the price reduced to 6 naira, Mallam Ademola increased his quantity demanded from 20 tins to 30 tins. Also, when the price reduced to 2 naira, Mallam Ademola increased his quantity demanded to 50 tins. So this one proves the loss of that normal demand that we earlier discussed. That the higher the price, all things being equal, the lower the quantity demanded. And the lower the price, all things being equal, the higher the quantity demanded. So you can see that table has clearly shown that. It has shown us the relationship that exists as price changes and what happens to the quantity demanded. You can see as price increases, the quantity reduces. And as the price reduces, the quantity demanded increases. Quantity demanded increases. So that is Mallam Ademola demand schedule, which is an individual demand schedule. Then let's move on. The next one is a typical example of a market demand schedule. Don't forget I told you under market demand schedule, it considers the totality of consumers of a particular commodity. The total consumers that demand a particular commodity in the market. That is what the market demand schedule, considers. All the consumers. So we saw their various quantity demanded at different prices. So according to what we have here, it is assumed that there are just 3 consumers of milk in this particular market. 3 consumers. And these 3 consumers are Mallam Ademola, Mallam Musa, and Mallam Ismail. Again, Mallam Ademola, Mallam Musa, Mallam Ismail. These are the 3 consumers of milk in a particular market. So, as you can see, this table has shown their various quantity demanded at different prices. When the price was what? 10 naira, Mallam Ademola demanded for 10 tins, Mallam Musa demanded for 8 tins, Mallam Ismail demanded for 5 tins. When the price reduced to 8 naira, Mallam Ademola demanded for 20 tins of milk, Mallam Musa demanded for 10 tins of milk, Mallam Ismail demanded for 10 tins of milk. When the price reduced to 2 naira, as you can see, Mallam Ademola demanded for 50 tins of milk, Mallam Musa demanded for 16 tins of milk, Mallam Musa demanded for what? 25 tins of milk. Because this is a market demand curve, which is also called aggregate demand what? Aggregate demand schedule rather. So we are trying to consider the total quantity demanded by all the consumers in that particular market. So in this case, if you are now to consider the market demand schedule, then we say at the price of 10 naira, the quantity demanded, the total quantity demanded by all the consumers of that particular commodity in the market is 23 things. At the price of 8 naira, the total quantity demanded by all the 3 consumers in that market is what? 40. At the price of what? 4 naira, the total quantity demanded by all the 3 consumers happen to be what? 24 tins of milk. And when the price reduced to 2 naira, the total quantity demanded by all the 3 consumers was 91 tins. So this is a what? A market demand schedule that shows the relation between the price and the total quantity demanded by all the consumers of a particular commodity in the market. Let's continue. Next is demand curve. I told you earlier on that when you talk about schedule in economics, we refer to what? We talk about a table. So now I want to look at demand curve. A curve in economics simply refers to a graph. So a curve is a graph. So demand curve can be defined as a graph that shows the relationship between the price and the quantity of the commodity demanded. Demand curve is a graph showing the relationship between the price and quantity of the commodity demanded. So the only thing that is different between demand schedule and demand curve is that while a demand schedule is a table, a demand curve is a what? Is a graph. That's the only thing that is different there. So demand schedule is a table showing relation between the price and quantity demanded. Demand curve is a graph showing relationship between the price and quantity demanded. As we have 2 types of demand schedule, individual demand schedule and market demand schedule. So also we are having 2 types of demand curve. Individual demand curve, then market demand what? Market demand curve. So meaning that if you want to plot an individual demand curve, we shall be using individual demand schedule. Then to plot a market demand curve, we shall be using market demand schedule. So don't forget. So the one we are seeing on the screen is an individual demand curve. This is an individual demand curve. Yeah. It is the individual demand curve of Mallam Ademola. So we made use of Mallam Ademola's demand schedule to plot this demand curve. You can see the various prices: 10 naira, 8 naira, 6 naira, 4 naira, 2 naira. This is the price axis. Then look at the different quantities demanded by Mallam Ademola according to his individual demand schedule. So at the price of 10 naira, Mallam Ademola demanded for 10 tins of milk, as you can see. At the price of 8 naira, when the price reduced to 8 naira, Mallam Ademola demanded for 20 tins of milk, showing the lower the price, the higher the quantity demanded. When the price further reduced to 6 naira, as you can see, Mallam Ademola demanded for 30 tins of milk, as you can see. When the price reduced to 2 naira, Mallam Ademola demanded for what? 50 tins of milk, showing the lower the price, other things being equal, the higher the quantity demanded. So this is an individual demand curve. If you are to plot market demand curve, we shall be making use of that market demand schedule. So that's just the difference that we have. Next is types of demand. We have 4 major types of demand. 4 major types of demand. We have the first one, joint or complementary demand. The second one, derived demand. The third one is known as competitive demand, while the fourth one is called composite demand. Once again, joint or complementary demand, derived demand, competitive demand, composite demand. These are the 4 types of demand we have. So let's now look at them one by one. The first one is known as joint demand. As the name suggests, joint. A joint demand is a type of demand that arises when 2 or more commodities are bought and used together to serve a purpose by a consumer. So once again, I said a joint or complementary demand arises, or is a type of demand that arises when a consumer demands or buys 2 or more commodities together for them to serve a purpose. Meaning that buying one without the other one will not serve the desired purpose. So before you can have the opportunity, the benefit, the full benefit intended from the consumption of a given commodity, it means the 2 or those small commodities must be demanded together and used together before they can serve the intended purpose. So goods, when 2 or more goods are demanded together and they are as well used together to serve a purpose, we say such goods, such commodities are in what? Joint demand. Or they are in what? In what? Complementary demand. Let's say for instance, we have a chair and a table. You cannot have full benefit of a chair as a student without a table. Also, you cannot have the full benefit of a table as a student without what? A chair. The 2 commodities must be demanded and also used together. While you sit on the chair, you write on the what? On the table as a student. So the demand for a table and a chair is what? Complementary. We have a bread and butter. Bread and butter. These also are often what? Joint demand. To have full benefit of what? Of the bread, you need a what? You need some butter. We have handset and SIM pack. Handset and what? And SIM. You cannot make use of your handset without a what? A SIM card. So as you are preparing to buy a handset, you must also be ready to what? To buy the what? The SIM pack alongside. So the demand for handset and SIM pack is what? It's joint. Because these commodities are usually demanded and used together. So it is a combination of the 2 that will give you that full benefit. So when 2 or more commodities are bought and used together, then we talk of what? Joint or complementary demand. Another one is derived demand. So demand is said to be derived when a commodity is demanded not because of its immediate satisfaction, but because of the goods and services that particular commodity will be used in producing or providing. So when the commodity is demanded not for its direct satisfaction, but because of what that particular commodity will be used to produce or provide, then we say such a commodity is what? Is derived. Let's say for instance, road construction for instance. When the services of a construction company is sought by the government, so that is when government is making a demand for the service of what? Construction company. It is not the construction company per se that the government needs, but government is asking is demanding for consumption what? Company, because of what that company will assist the government in what? In doing, which is what? Consumption of roads. So generally, the demand for factors of production or labor is derived. Yes, the demand for what? Factors of production is what? Is derived. As a producer, you hire labor. As you are hiring labor, it's not your what? You are making demand for what? For labor. It's not because you want to consume, labor. You can't consume labor, but because of the services which the labor will assist in what? In providing. So that is derived. So when a commodity is demanded, not for its immediate or direct satisfaction, but because of what that particular commodity will assist in what? In providing or in doing. And I've said that demand for what? All factors of production is derived. So as an prospective entrepreneur that wants to go into business, you require money, capital. So you demand for capital not because you want to consume capital, but because of the fact that that capital is required, that we assist you in getting your business set up. The next one is a competitive demand. This is a type of demand that focuses on goods, on commodities that are close substitutes to each other or to one another. A number of commodities are close substitutes to each other. So these commodities that are close substitutes of one another are in competitive demand. That is one. Generally, competitive demand talks about goods that are related. Let me put it that way. Competitive demand focuses on commodities that are what? Related. And goods are related. Goods can be related in two different ways. Either they are substitutes or they are complements. But let's look at that of what? Substitute. We have Milo and Bonfita. These two beverages serve the same purpose. They are both what? Beverages. So let's assume now we have a consumer that usually goes for Bonfita. But going to the market, he realizes that the price of Bonfita has increased. As a rational consumer, the next question he will ask is that, what about the price of what? Milo. So once the price of Milo still remains the same, you will prefer to what? To go for Milo at the expense of what? Bonfita. So he's able to do this because both Milo and Bonfita serve the same purpose. They are close substitutes. So when the consumer demands for a commodity at the expense of what? Another, simply because both commodities are what? Close substitute, then we say such commodities are having competitive demand. So we have a number of what? Examples of commodities that are what? Close substitute. We have Globacom, we have MTN, they are close substitute. Nine Mobile and the rest of them, they are all what? Close substitutes. We have Omo, we have detergents. Omo Elephant, they are close substitutes. So and so on and so forth. The last one is known as composite demand. Yeah. Demand is said to become composite when a commodity is demanded simply because such a commodity can serve two or more purposes. So when a consumer demands for a commodity simply because the commodity is capable of serving two or more purposes. So when a commodity is demanded because it can serve two or more purposes, then such a commodity is what? Said to be composite what? Demand. Having a composite demand. Let's take for instance, let's look at palm oil. Palm oil is a commodity that can be used to serve a number of purposes. It can be used to cook food. It can be used in the manufacturing of what? Of soap, and so on and so forth. So that is that. So when a commodity is demanded, because that commodity can serve two or more purposes, then we say the demand for that commodity is composite. So once again, I said we have 4 types of demand: joint or complementary demand, derived demand, commodity demand, and composite demand. Joint or complementary, when 2 or more commodities are demanded and used together to serve a purpose. Derived demand, when a commodity is demanded not for its what, for its direct what, consumption or satisfaction, but because of what it will use, it will help in what, in providing or producing. Commodity demand, that's demand for commodities that are what, close substitutes. Then composite, commodity that can serve 2 or more purposes. Now, the next subtopic that we shall be looking at is factors affecting demand. We have a number of factors that affect the demand. These are just few of them. Price of the commodity, price of other commodities, income of the consumer, changes in taste, population, weather and climate, and so on and so forth. Price of the commodity is one of the factors that affect the demand. And according to the laws of demand, you realize that whenever the price of a normal commodity changes, there's going to be a change in the quantity demanded for that particular commodity. So the higher the price, other things being equal, the lower the quantity demanded. Like when price of a commodity increases, other things being equal, the quantity demanded will reduce. And when price of a commodity reduces, other things being equal, the quantity demanded tends to increase. So that is one of the factors that affect the demand, that makes demand to change. Another factor is price of other commodities. So this affects commodities that are related. Commodities which are what? Related. And commodities are related in 2 ways. Either they are substitutes or they are complements. So when there is a change in the price of a complementary or goods that are what? That are close substitutes, the demand for the affected related commodity is going to what? Is going to change. Let's say for instance, Milo and Bonfita. We have somebody who naturally goes for Bonfita, but now the price of that Bonfita has increased. Don't forget earlier on, as a rational consumer, the next thing is to confirm about the price of the what? The other substitute, which is for Milo. So if it is established that the price of Milo still remains unchanged, a rational consumer will surely abandon the Bonfita that he used to buy and move to what? Shift to Milo. So there has been a change in the demand of what? Of one commodity as a sort of a change in the price of what? The related one. So that is substitute. In the case of complementary goods, these are goods that are bought and used together. We are talking of goods that are what? Joint to demand. They are also related. Like chair and table, for instance. If the price of chair increases, definitely don't forget the law of demand. The higher the price, the higher the quantity demanded. It means as the price of chair increases, there is tendency that there is going to be a decrease in the demand for that chair. And as there is a decrease in demand for chair, other things being equal, there is a likelihood that the demand for table automatically will also reduce. Because you have to maintain equal number. If you are buying 2 pieces of chairs, you have to have 2 pieces of tables, and so on and so forth. So as a result of an increase in the price of chair, it has made the demand for table to decline. Because these 2 commodities are they are in joint demand. Let's look at car and petrol. They are also complementary. They are in joint demand. As you are buying a car, you must already prepare your mind that you are going to be buying petrol. So increase in the price of car will bring about decrease in demand for petrol. You know what that means? Because as the price of cars increases, it is believed that the demand for car will reduce. And as the demand for car reduces, all that things being equal, there will be decrease in what? Demand for petrol. So that is that. The income of the consumer. This is another factor. And in explaining how income of consumer affects the demand, we shall be establishing the two forms of goods that we have under income. We have two forms of what? Commodities under consumer's income. We have normal goods, we have inferior goods. These are the two forms of commodities that are affected by consumers' income. So the kind of effect that the change in consumer income have on these commodities will show the type of commodities which they are. Once again, I said under income of the consumer, we have two categories of what? Commodities. And these categories of commodities are what? Normal goods and what? Inferior goods. What are these two goods I've mentioned? Once I explain their meanings, then I've done justice to how income of consumer affects demand. Normal goods. Normal goods are goods whose demand increases as the income of consumer increases. So there are some goods naturally that when there is an increase in the level of consumer's income, that consumers tend to increase the quantity of such commodities. So any good which consumer will buy more as his level of income increases, such a commodity is described as a normal good. Then in terms of inferior goods are goods whose demand increases as the income of consumer reduces. Or they are goods whose demand reduces as income of consumer what? Increases. That is inferior goods. So any commodity that consumer will buy less whenever his level of income increases, such a commodity is said to be what? Described as what? Inferior goods. Or commodity that consumer will buy more whenever his level of income reduces. These are what? Inferior goods. So that is that about income of consumer. So when there's an increase in the level of consumer's income, the demand for normal goods will increase, while demand for inferior goods will reduce, and vice versa. Then changes in taste. Yeah, taste differs. Taste differs. So taste is also yet another factor that affects the demand. If the taste of a consumer changes in favor of the commodity, other things being equal, the demand for that commodity will increase, and vice versa. That's just it. So whenever there is a change in the consumer what? Taste, such that that change in what? In taste is in favor of a particular commodity, the demand for that commodity will surely what? Will surely increase. Ceteris paribus. Population. Yes. The higher the population in a particular area, other things being equal, the higher the demand for commodity in that particular area. So that is that. Then weather and climate. This also affects the demand for certain commodities as particular what? As season changes. For instance, during rainy season, for instance, there's always increase in demand for what? Umbrella. Cardigan, as in sweater, cardigan. Or harmattan, during harmattan period, the demand for cardigan usually what? Increases. Why during the rainy season, there's usually increase in what? Demand for umbrella. Other things being equal. So once again, these are some of the factors that affect the demand: price of the commodity, price of other commodities, income of the consumer, changes in taste, population, weather and climate, government policy, and so on and so forth. Now, before I close this class, once again, our topic for today has been theory of demand, and it has been defined as the quantity of goods or services which a consumer is willing and able to buy at a given price and a particular period of time. And we have been able to see the difference between demand and desire or want. Yes. And we established the two different forms of demand: effective demand, ineffective demand. We said demand is effective when it is backed up by what? Ability to pay, that is purchasing power. That is that. Then we look at laws of demand. Say that the higher the price, other things being equal, the lower the country demand and vice versa. We look at demand schedule, which is a table that shows relation between demand and between the price and quantity demanded. We look at demand what? Demand curve, which is a graph. Under each of them, we say we have two types: individual demand schedule, market demand schedule, individual demand curve, and market demand curve. Then after that, we look at types of demand. We say we have four types of demand: joint or complementary demand, composite demand, competitive demand, and competitive demand. Then finally, we look at the factors affecting the demand. Inshallah, in our next class, we shall continue on this very topic because it has not ended. We still have some other subtopics that we are going to look at. We still have change in demand, change in quantity demanded that we have not considered. We still have abnormal demand and factors that usually bring about abnormal demand. We are still going to look at that. That definitely will be in our next class by Allah's mercy. Before I close, I would like to encourage my students to read your books. Read your books. Read your books. You are final year students. At any time from now, you might be called to come and write your final exams. As you are staying at home, I want to encourage you to keep studying, and make sure you always do your assignment at the stipulated time. The level of response so far has not been encouraging. Majority of you have not been attempting the assignment. So I can only be convinced that you all have been assessing my lectures by your response towards the assignment being given. So I want to encourage you to always submit your assignments and do read your work, do read your notes in preparation for the exam. I pray that Almighty Allah will continue to be with us, will continue to spare our lives and take perfect control and bless all our efforts. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.